Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks on a sunny and quickly warming up Wednesday morning. Going to be a high of 79 degrees in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida today. I'm coming to you from the WOCA studios, located just off the runway at the Ocala International Airport. 1 day removed from a very important day. I know Galen, from Life South, brought to us by Palm Garden Health Rehabilitation Center, Penn Flooring, and Just Shipped. Isn't a big fan of these days, but I gotta think this day he may be a big fan just because he's about the same age as I am. Galen, good morning to you.
Hey, what's going on, Tom? How are you?
Yesterday, I didn't get the chance to talk to you about this because I did it in birthdays, and I know you're not a birthday guy, which it's well documented that birthdays are just another day on the calendar for you, that you're not a big birthday guy. But yesterday, Daisy Duke turned another year older. Now, come on. You got to be a Daisy Duke fan.
Well, everybody is, but it's sad. I mean, that's not necessarily a good thing.
68 years young.
She probably still looks good.
She looks
right?
better than us. I promise you that.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. But, good for Daisy Duke.
Catherine Bach, man, hey, between
her
her and Farrah Fawcett, that shaped my youth.
Yeah, and I'm a documented fan of White.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean, it's well documented. But Daisy Duke, and then you put her next to the General Lee. I don't know what else a 10-year-old boy needs in life. Bo and Luke Duke didn't care, but I remember the one time that Daisy Duke got to drive the General Lee. Like, well, that's as good as this show's gonna get.
How look, you know who really liked Daisy.
And by the way, she made the Jeep Wrangler.
That's what I'm saying. That's who really loved Daisy Duke, was the Jeep Corporation, because she made the Jeep Wrangler a must-have for women.
That was the first Jeep I saw that had a little lift kit on it, right? Cool wheels and tires. And she gets out of that thing, and you're like,
I got to have one of those.
Well, there you go. And that's probably also why it's a chick car to this day to a certain extent. Don't tell the Jeep Club of Ocala that. They'll come up and kill me. But that's a violent group anyway if you talk bad about their Jeeps that they buy for $40,000 and then they put another $150,000 into them.
Just so they can get them stuck in the mud?
Yeah, just so they can get that little tow hook, Yeah. If you get a shackle and it says Jeep on it, well, that's an extra $30,000. I mean, it's unbelievable.
But if you turn, what was it somebody said? If you turn Jeep upside down, it says beer.
That's true. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong.
No,
with that.
But it is how the Jeep Wrangler became cool because solely, and I've said this before, solely because of Catherine Bach and her Daisy Duke.
It was a big, bulky, like Doctari type vehicle until Dukes of Hazzard.
Well, it was a mail carrying vehicle.
Yeah,
right?
what was his name? Marlon Perkins rode around in a Jeep.
Right.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
That's right. And then Catherine Bach. When she drove the General Lee, life got better.
I was hard pressed yesterday because growing up in the Deep South and everything with the Dukes of Hazzard, I was hard pressed. Was Farrah Fawcett in the red tank top and shorts, or Catherine Bach in the Daisy Dukes?
Well,
that's neck and neck for me.
Well, the issue is Farrah Fawcett when she was one of Charlie's Angels. And if you think we watched Charlie's Angels because of the acting, why did we fool you?
We weren't there to see Bosley, I promise you that.
No. And I mean, I could not tell you a single thing that happened on Charlie's Angels, and I never missed an episode. But you know, she was surrounded by, and it all depended on what you were into, right? Who was the girl who replaced Farrah Fawcett? Lloyd? I can't remember.
Yeah, I forget her name.
Lloyd. Anyway.
Yeah. The original were Jacqueline Smith, Kate. It was Jacqueline Smith, Kate. I just had Kate's name in my head and it just missed me.
Kate Jackson.
Kate Jackson and Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah. And then they replaced her with something. I want to say Carrie Lloyd.
And by the way, Kate Jackson came from one of my favorite shows as a kid before she was on Charlie's Angels. She was a wife on SWAT, the original SWAT.
Yeah, sure.
Had Robert Ulrich on there, who played.
But Farrah Fawcett lost her mind later in life, So, she was. You ever see that video of the guys talking about the crazy hot women?
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's where she's way up.
Sold a lot of Noxzema shaving cream, I promise you.
Well, you're darn right she did.
Sold a lot of Noxzema shaving cream.
Yeah.
But Catherine Bach, yesterday was her birthday, so happy birthday to Catherine Bach. I just brought that up because I knew you were probably a big Daisy Duke fan. So even though you're not a birthday fan, I gave Cheryl Ladd, that's right. Cheryl Ladd replaced her. And Cheryl Ladd was good in her own right, but see how much we didn't know about her? Because she replaced Farrah.
I mean, you don't want to replace a legend.
You do not.
I don't know how many examples we have to throw out there.
You do not. I got the phone call. Look, I got the phone call
right
when the retirement was announced that Larry and Robin were retiring. I got the phone call. No, sir, I want no part of it. Nothing. Nope. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent.
Thousands and you don't want to be the next quarterback of the Bucks. I mean, come on. There's a lot of.
I love Coach Zook. I love Coach Zook. He did a great job in the NFL. Shouldn't have followed Spurrier.
You do want to follow Biden after the right now. I mean, everything. I mean, his speech was fine. It was kind of boring.
Well, I had no idea that the Russians invaded the Iranians. I had no idea.
I heard it, and I'm like, did he? It's hard. I mean, you're gonna.
And I watched that video back, and if you watch the video back and you're keyed in on Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi, you can see both of them's eyes get wide, and then they catch themselves and they go back to a normal look when he said the Iranians.
Oh, I mean, Kamala Harris. I know she's a senator.
No, she's the vice president.
Well, she was a senator, but she may have been the dumbest person in the room, aside from the two people who heckled the president. I just don't. I think that's tacky.
I think it. And the one lady she heckled about, you left 13. I understand what she was saying and all, but there's
a time and a place.
Yeah, there's a time and a place, and that's not the time nor the place to me. It's just my opinion.
No, I thought it was tacky.
Well, we're going to get more into the State of the Union address after the break. But, I tell you, when we come back from break, I'm going to tell you, he had me for a minute. I'm going to tell you, he had me for a second. And I'm going to tell you when he had me. But he lost me pretty quick, but he had me for a second. We'll talk about that when we come back after this timeout. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Wednesday, last night at 9 p.m., the Sergeant of Arms at the House called to the Speaker of the House and said, Madam Speaker, the President of the United States requests entry into the chamber. As is always the case, although it doesn't have to be, the Speaker invited the President in, and the President gave the State of the Union address. Galen Unaw from Life South joins us, brought to you by Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, Just Shipped, and Penn Flooring. Galen, little known fact, he has to ask permission, and the Speaker has to grant it before he could ever come on the floor to give the State of the Union address.
Yeah, I mean, that's right.
It's really a formality, but, you know, there are times in the 1800s where it was a little dicey. So at least we're not there. Sure. But I think, you know, and everybody goes, yeah, but that pomp and circumstance, is that really needed? You're damn right it's really needed. The people, which is the House of Representatives, the House of Representatives invite the leader of the free world in. You know, I think it's very needed for the rest of the days of this country.
Yeah, and I agree. It'll be interesting to see if this is Nancy Pelosi's last term or last State of the Union as a Speaker of the House. That's the interesting thing.
It will be interesting. Last night, about 4 minutes into the speech, he had me. I'll be honest with you. About 4 minutes in, I was like, who the hell is this guy, and where did he take Joe Biden? Because he was very strong in Putin, we're going to get you. We're going to come get the oligarchs. We're going to seize your yachts. We're going to seize your beach chalets. We're going to seize your money. He was very tough as nails for about 4 minutes. But that was a very strong part of his speech. And then he, about 38 minutes in, he you know he's going to anger. We hadn't heard it yet, but you know there's going to be a blow up in the next day or so from the squad, because he said we need to fund the police. And you know that the far left progressives, they want defund, not fund. That was the two times last night, the first 4 minutes of the speech, and then when he said fund the police, that I thought, who are you and where did you put Joe Biden?
Well, and again, I think don't worry. There was later in the speech where he gave them everything the squad wants. But I think what he's trying to do is save his presidency in the midterm. You know, I mean, let's be clear, if he loses the House, which he's projected to do by a lot, and this guy's approval rating, according to ABC,
in the mid-30s.
Right. So, you know, he had to say something like that he had to. And just like all politicians, they say whatever they can to get elected.
He had to say something to the conservative Democrats. He had to say something to the conservative Democrats.
That's right. And that's for the mansions of the world and the cinemas of the world. But don't worry, he said the transgenders, and he's going to try to pass the transgender rights. And, you know, he's against the Florida bill and the one in Texas, which says if my and I don't understand this, because as a parent, you have all the rights that child has go through the parent, because the child in themselves isn't protected by the Constitution. That's been argued over and over again. So if a child wants to change his gender, and you have to notify the parents, I still don't understand why that's a problem. I don't understand that at all. Right?
I don't understand the whole transgender thing. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I don't either. But if my son all of a sudden wants to start wearing dresses and be called Sarah at work or at school, I should probably know that. Right?
Yeah, you should know that he's sneaking dresses in his backpack and stuff. That's something parents should probably know.
Yeah, but and I don't understand what's the. There's a lot of that transgender that I don't understand. I'll admit that, but I don't understand why that in itself is bad. Maybe it's a conversation they should have. I don't know. But anyway, the speech was a laundry list of different topics that he went through. I don't think he speaks very well. You know, they get you fired up. You know, I mean, the base. People are like, oh, look at the unity he got with Ukrainians. Yeah, Russia. I think we can all.
Are you sure it was the Ukrainians or was it the Iranians?
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, we can all agree we are against the Russians, and nobody's got more to gain from the Ukrainians being sovereign than Hunter and himself. I did think that his nod to his son, he throws up his son's death as much as he can. He thinks it makes him more patriotic and that people respect him more. And trust me,
and we're talking about his oldest son who died of brain cancer at 47, who was a decorated veteran.
Right, but he brings it up a lot, and I get it. He doesn't bring up his illegitimate child, but that's different. I mean, I get it. But I thought that was. He didn't mention Afghanistan. He didn't mention China. Didn't mention Syria. He didn't mention. You know, I guess COVID is now officially over, right? Because he told everybody to get back to work. And
he says we're back to normal.
Yeah. He's talking about bringing down inflation, but everything he said that was going to bring down inflation would actually increase inflation. Right? Because it would increase the amount of taxes.
The one spot he said, though, that made me chuckle was there's two main ways to bring down inflation. One is lower wages, and the other is lower prices. I'm not real sure how lower wages is going to help inflation.
Yeah, I mean, lower wages if they charge less, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I guarantee you that if you continue to raise prices or wages the way we are, inflation will continue to skyrocket.
And he committed.
The reason we have inflation. And by the way, that's a natural progression. The reason we have inflation is because he flooded the market with cash.
Right.
And people have
with stimulus
a ton
checks.
Of cash. Right. And
demand went higher, so right.
Yeah, they doubled the amount of unemployment in some cases, and you know people weren't paying rent. There's about 150 different reasons why inflation came about so strongly, and he didn't mention any of them. You know, again, he's going to go and empty the oil reserve, which will artificially lower the oil impact or oil and gas for about 3 months.
But will it really?
He
because
didn't solve the problem.
No, because here's what he did. He committed 30 million barrels of our reserve. He's going to put that with 36 million barrels from the European Union. So that's 66 million barrels, which is about a 2-day supply.
Right.
How's that gonna help anything?
Again, at least it didn't go on and on about climate change. But again, it's just a philosophy, right? Their philosophy is that they want bigger government, and I'm against all government.
Well, it was an hour long. Then I thought the Republican response was a little weak. I didn't think that the Iowa governor.
Nobody cares.
I know, but I didn't think. I thought that it felt like nobody cared. It felt like the Republicans are like, well, let's just run out the Iowa governor. We'll run her out there. No, I understand. No, I understand what she said and all, but why? Here's the thing. Why do we have to have a response?
You know why? It goes back to the equal time,
I guess,
doctrine from a long time ago.
Because it felt like last night. It felt like last night that the Republican response is the NFL Pro Bowl. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like the NFL Pro Bowl that I was watching two-hand touch. I'm watching two-hand touch afterwards. And that's what else are you going to do? You're not going to do anything else. So why do we even have it?
Well, I think they have to. But again, they got over their points that we're back in the 70s and, inflation, war, Russia's. Again, the Republican Party has a lot to run on. We'll see if they screw it up the way they always do.
I mean,
we gave them you go back and you look at the Tea Party. The Tea Party had so much momentum and had a real ability to change this country and actually downsize our government. But instead, Obama got reelected. We lost the House that we won briefly, and then all we did was spend more. So, never doubt the ability of the Republican Party to screw up anything.
Yeah, somebody says, last night just solidified that the Republicans are going to win the House and Senate. I go, you hadn't been a Republican very long.
There's some Republican out there going, hold my beer.
100% there is. 100%
hold my beer. And by the way, they did it last night by heckling the president.
And by the way,
sit there and just shut up.
A lot of people,
then, applaud when you're supposed to.
A lot of people not in the chamber, and it was all Republicans. And the reasoning, we didn't get vaccinated. We didn't have our papers. Nancy Pelosi said you got to present papers to come on the floor, and we didn't have our papers. We weren't doing it.
No.
So they didn't come in. It was a half full chamber, and some of the seating arrangements caught my attention. I want to ask you after the break, was it much to do about nothing, or was there a message being sent? Because, it's hard for me to tell, but I'll get your opinion because it was very strange to me, some of the seating arrangements last night. I did see that he walked up and talked to he shook John Roberts' hand and had a brief comment with him, and then shook every hand that he considers as liberal justices, but left some justices out, but some justices weren't there. So I don't like that the court, I know why the court's there, it's required, but the court has become so political, and that really aggravates me that the Supreme Court has become that. But it's over time, it's morphed that way. There's not anything you're going to do about it. So that's the world we live in. But I do want to talk to you about some of the seating arrangements, one in particular, when we get back from break, because it caught me a little by surprise. And then I thought, is that a message being sent, or am I reading too much into it? So I'll ask Galen about that after we take this brief time out. You're listening to Ocala Talks on a Wednesday, the day after the State of the Union address by President Joe Biden. We'll have more. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA. The Source.
broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport. This is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Today in Ag News.
USA Radio News.
President Joe Biden delivers his first State of the Union speech. Tim Berg reports.
President Biden is using his first State of the Union address to slam Russia's attack on Ukraine as war rages on Europe's borders.
Putin's latest attack on Ukraine was premeditated and totally unprovoked. He rejected repeated efforts at diplomacy. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond. He thought he could divide us at home, in this chamber, in this nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. We are ready. We are united, and that's what we did. We stayed united.
Also on Tuesday, oil prices surged, with U.S. crude hitting its highest level since June 2014. This is USA Radio News.
My sign is a potential customer's first impression, so it needs to be perfect.
It's possible at Staples.
There are 4 other bakeries within 5 blocks of here. My shop needs to stand out.
Also possible. With Staples print and marketing services, small businesses can print big with wide format signs and banners. Right now, get $10 off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. Create your sign at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 3/26. Visit staples.com/signage for details.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
That new doctor is drop dead gorgeous. Please, he's just another RV League educated surgeon with good hair.
No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor. No, she's on break. I'll handle this one.
Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy term.
Suffering from neck, back, or leg pain? Go Green CBD Store can help you with holistic, all-natural, lab-tested products that help with pain, stress, anxiety, inflammation, PTSD, and so much more. We stock smokable products, gummies, chocolate, coffee, tea, even pain cream. Yes, we even have treats and oils for your dogs or cats. Go Green CBD is located in the Paddock Mall in the center court. We're open every day. Come in today for a free sample.
Are you a veteran living in Florida? Do you want to